Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, good day. Welcome, everybody, to the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. Big E. No, I don't believe I wore this shirt yesterday.
Well, I'm not so sure, Mike.
I'm under attack as soon as we go to kick on the microphone. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, thank you. My left-handed mug in place.
Yep, looks good.
Excuse me, let me move the mic as I sup from my mug.
Yep. Go ahead, take a nip.
Coffee tastes better out of the Detroit Cast mug, Mike.
Yeah. It looks good. That's a good-looking mug. It is. I
I agree with you.
Yesterday about this time we were talking about, all the problems I was having over here. You know, the magic button in the garage that I push.
Can we add the coffee machine?
Yeah, we can. I don't know what to do, dude. I'm absolutely beside myself with the coffee machine.
Wasn't there a Stephen King movie where all the shit went crazy?
And stopped working?
Yeah, an AC/DC song came out of that movie, didn't it?
Which movie? I don't remember.
If I only had a Google machine in front of me.
How do I look
Stephen
that up?
King movie. Shit in the house goes crazy on
Okay.
people. Appliances.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Anyway, I got that a new coffee machine. My first Keurig shit the bed, and then I got a new Keurig machine, and it started just going boom, throwing coffee grinds into my coffee. And then it's got this
Brand new model. I mean, lovely model.
Brand new.
Aesthetically, you can't be
pleasing.
beaten.
I would declare it pleasing.
I would too.
Aesthetically. And so I was tweeting at Keurig, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is this thing doing this? It's brand new. And they're like, oh, that shouldn't happen. That's outrageous. Man, you need to get that fixed. Like, yeah, it shouldn't be happening. I've had Keurigs for years. I've never had it just dump coffee grinds in my coffee.
Did you take it back and get full refund?
Finally, I did. I tried to make it work, kind of like my washing machine, like, choke this thing out, see if it fixes
If I
itself.
hold the power button down, something like that.
See if it fixes itself eventually. And then I did, I unplugged it numerous times and blew on it. And that seemed to work well for a while. But then it was like, all right, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to run out of the warranty from the store. So I finally took it back. I was like, yeah, this thing sucks. And just kind of slammed it down the counter and said, I want a new one. And they said, all right, whatever, dude. Go pick a new one out.
This thing sucks so bad, I want a new one.
Yeah, I want the same thing, just new.
Working order.
I don't want one that's 3 weeks old like this one. I want a new one. And so I went and I found a new one, but like a different one number off model. So I figured, okay, if the 575 is the problem, I'm going with a 475, see if that fixes my problem.
Good thinking.
Yeah. And so I went and bought that, and I got home. I was proud of myself. I went up there, and I took care of this all by myself. I brought it home, and I hooked it all up, and it's shooting coffee grinds in my fucking coffee again.
Keurigs are usually high-quality items.
That's what I thought. Did
I've
they
had
get
good
bought out by
experience.
someone?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Did I buy a Keurig?
Maybe they've gone Taiwanese on us.
Is that what's going on?
It's possible.
Have I not looked at the label enough?
I think they're Swedish, aren't they? They've
maybe
Swedish manufacturer. They could have very well sold out.
Is it?
I've been arguing, Mike, for months now that you got to go pot.
I don't want the pot.
It's
I don't
been
like
an
the pot.
expense issue to me. We've been buying pods. We've been spending. Do we want to go into this?
We can go into this.
Upwards of $700 on coffee every year.
That's fine. I took it off your plate. It's not on your tab anymore. I eliminated
ridiculous.
that from your tab. I started buying it myself for the most part.
Go buy normal grounds, dude. 1/3 of that.
I don't care. I want to do the pod. I like the pod. The pod is my thing. Is it possible that I bought something that's not really a Keurig, but it's fooling me? You know, when you see some foreign land and some kid's wearing, if you look really close, he's wearing a pair of Mikeys.
Yeah, it's a knockoff.
And it's a total not. Did I buy like a Zeurig or something?
Yeah, you.
And it's just, that's what it does. It just spits coffee grinds into your drink.
Ian Zeurig.
Yeah.
What do we got, E?
Maximum Overdrive.
There you
I
go.
can't believe I've never heard of that just because I read a lot of
Yeah.
Stephen King
What was
books.
the AC/DC song that came out?
Back in Black.
I think it
Hell's
was.
Bells.
No, it might have been
I
Back
didn't
in
look
Black.
that up. I just looked up the movie, I
Look at the
guess.
soundtrack. I'm sure there's a soundtrack on there.
No. Who made who?
Who made who?
Yes,
Oh,
that
okay.
makes sense because
was
the
that from-
appliances are taking over.
Was that from Flick of the Switch, or was that actually an album? Who made who? I don't remember. Not that anyone else is going to remember. Well, a lot of people remember, but not in this room. So yeah, I don't know what. Now I'm at a total loss because I don't know what to do now with the Keurig thing. I don't want to go pot. I'm not ready to go the pot route. So I don't know what to do. And then I was talking yesterday about how the button in my garage started acting up.
Right.
And I would push my magic button and the garage would go down and usually just stay there. And it did that for years without issue. And then I started pushing my magic button and it stopped going all the way down and then it would go back up. And so I just decided, oh, okay, I guess I'm parking the driveway guy now. I don't park in the garage anymore.
Right.
And one of our fine listeners emailed yesterday and was like, hey, dude, I can come by and take a look, maybe fix that for you. So I'm looking forward to that. But he's like, yeah, I was listening to this, your ridiculous conversation about this. It's kind of hilarious. Because here's my problem. I hate touching anything like computers, electronic stuff, because I feel like I'm going to be the one that pushes the catastrophic button that's going to explode the whole thing.
It's such a crutch, Mike.
I know it is. It's hindering. It's very hindering in my life. But I'm like, I'll wait till Kadog gets here because I don't want to try to do something with the printer and then disable the whole internet. Like, that's my fear.
Yeah.
And so I know it's not realistic, but it is real. And so I'm just like, fuck it. I don't want to do anything. That's not my place. I don't know. And so, I'm trying to work through those worries in my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some proactive steps here to fix this problem. And so I mentioned how I WD-40'd the track. And not 5 minutes after this guy, he's like, hey,
Now,
I'm
hold
listening
on.
to-
Did you really think that would work? Like,
I thought it was maybe getting held up, like it was getting stuck somewhere as it was going 4 feet and then going back up.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, there's something preventing it. The wheels aren't churning
can
properly.
we define that as a lame effort-y? I mean,
It was the
I don't really
same-
know.
won't
You
go
know what?
down
I
and
can't
stay.
say much because I told you when we were locked out yesterday. The reality is how Mike handles most things is how I would handle most things if I was
Yeah.
in his situation. If we were reversed and I was living in this house by myself and that didn't work, it'd just be like, well,
Gotta wait for
I
my
might
dad
look
to
at
come
it.
over.
Right. I might look at it mildly.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it going, yeah, yep. That
I was trying to think the other.
everything looks good from my angle.
Yeah, you're pushing the button. The button still pushes in.
Yes. Now if the button didn't
Nothing's
push
impeding
in,
the button.
yeah, right.
I was trying to think yesterday because I was going to do a wave about something that I recently, because of that, I was trying to think of a problem I recently have just, the toes are, I guess, the most recent thing.
Right.
That's a great example.
But of just
Yeah.
something that I just,
It's my version of the toes,
Yeah.
garage door opener.
yeah.
but I just use, when you talk about cars, dude, I used to tell my friends, I'm like, dude, if I went to like, short of my dad, if I went into a place, if my car's acting up, I don't know, dude. I know, like, I put the key in, I start it, and I hit that pedal and it goes. And if that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
it's
it's a real problem,
then
right?
I'm like,
We've got a real problem.
right. I'm doing what I know. I'm putting the key in.
Yeah, I'm not. I've never professed to be a genius with garage door openers. It's just not my thing. I probably could excel at it if I
If you wanted
studied
to,
it.
you just don't want to.
I
get it.
haven't felt like it. So anyway,
Just not passionate about it.
right. And so he's like, yeah, I was listening to the show. It's funny, listening to you morons talk about the garage door opener. Blah, I can come fix it. And then 5 minutes later, he's obviously still listening, and I just get this message: no, don't ever WD-40 the track. It's like, of course. That's what I thought. And now I've probably ruined the track, and now it's probably going to be 10 times as much to fix.
So now you're not going to do anything ever to anything because
Ever.
of your fear and then that
Yes.
experience says
It's
don't touch
proved
it.
it.
Yeah, leave it for the professionals.
Yes. So anyway, that's how my day started off. How was your day? Anything exciting going on?
No, I'm just carting Russell around to soccer, man.
Oh, yeah?
So my whole morning.
Does he have a
is
game
spent-
today?
No, he's got morning practices.
He's upstairs playing video games.
Yeah,
gonna be-
we think at least.
Yeah, we
Not
hope.
making us food, by the way.
Yeah, what's up with that? Usually when he comes over, we expect delicious omelets, and now there's
Do you have
nothing.
any eggs here? Any cheese? Anything?
I have eggs, but they're probably 6 months old. So I don't.
They're about to hatch.
Yeah. So no, I don't have anything. But last time he brought his own food, if I remember correctly. Anyway, let's get to the show. A lot to get to today, including last week we were talking about the Fox show that they did on the jump from, what was it, 25,000 feet?
25,000, yeah, without a parachute.
Yeah, the guy.
Luke Akins.
Yes, and he hit the net, 100 by 100 or so net. And what struck Jay and I as we were reading the story was another name as a part of that was Andy Farrington, who's the guy that Jay did the tandem jump with from
Right.
the Red Bull team. And so we contacted Andy and we're like, dude, can we ask you some questions about it? And he said, sure. So we'll call him in a little bit and get some more detail on that.
Interesting dude, pro stuntman, pilot himself, wingsuit champion.
What a gig, man!
I know, man.
Like, that's your
Traveling around the
job?
world doing that stuff, yeah.
I mean, you
And then
think
his
of,
family owns a skydiving Drop Zone, a company that takes people up to jump.
in Washington, is
You're
it
right.
Washington State? So we'll get to him in a little bit. And as you said, been in some movies, does a lot of stunt work, trained the military, those guys, part of the Red Bull Air Force team, that 5-man team, is it?
Right.
It's just unbelievable. We've talked about him before. One of the stories we were talking about yesterday, and we're getting some more information about today, is that that senator's son,
Oh, this is so grim.
that was on that, what was it, the world's tallest water slide?
Yep.
And the reports were that he went zipping down that thing. It was like a 168-foot plunge. I think he get going up to 65 miles an hour. And then as he came back up, was launched off this thing. And now witnesses are saying that, yeah, he was decapitated. Oh. That might be the best way to go, though. You probably wouldn't feel a thing. You probably wouldn't know anything.
Yeah, so the 3-man sled didn't, in fact, launch off, as was speculated. There was actually netting around the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But somehow he came out of the front harness. He was sitting in the front with 2 unrelated ladies behind him.
Yeah.
And his body came out of the harness somehow, and he hit the top net.
It looks like the net has breaks in it, so if it's a spot where you could potentially go up and over
A spot.
a spot, that's where the net is. But it's not like a full net top to bottom, if I have that right. So it looks like he came out, and as he went up, yeah, witnesses.
Yeah, they're
described
describing it as a neck injury. I guess that's one way of putting it.
Yeah,
You could say head injury.
facial injury.
Yeah.
Brain
I guess
injury?
neck is fine.
Sure,
It's definitely an injured neck.
it doesn't sound quite as dramatic or as gruesome as
Decapitation.
I don't know what it is about
Oh.
decapitation. Sounds so brutal. I mean, it is brutal, right? We can all agree it's brutal.
Yeah.
So witnesses are describing the scene. Those poor witnesses. That's something you will never forget.
Oh, it's the last thing, right? You're just having fun at this water park. It's the last thing you expect.
Yeah.
To see this kid's body come floating down after the raft.
They're saying, yeah, he flew off the thing and hit the safety net. Esteban Castaneda, who was at the at the water park, told local ABC 7 there he heard loud booms from inside the ride and then noticed a body wash down after the raft.
So that's just his body banging against the side as it came down.
Probably.
God damn it.
2 women still strapped in the raft were injured, with another witness describing one as having blood pouring down her face. One of those women's jaw was broken. The other had a broken face bone. That would stink to break a face bone. Not sure which one, but she broke a face bone.
There's two negatives there too. She has a broken face bone, and if she has a significant other, that could be a situation.
What do you-
Oh, you think, yeah.
it was a slow job joke.
Yeah,
Well,
He's
blowjob
thinking
joke.
one step down the line.
Right. The husband's like,
The domino effect.
right.
but her mouth is fine. I mean, she's got a cranial fracture of the top
No
of the head.
oral injuries at all.
None. I mean, there's no swelling that's going to prevent anything, eating or anything else.
It's more to
Oh.
the side of her head then?
Back of the head. She banged the back of her
Got
head.
it. Okay.
Got a knot, but we're good. We're not like wiring anything shut for 6 weeks.
Don't want any unsightly injury on the top of her head either. That'd be ideal if it were in the back.
He's asking for blindfolds in case it is true that there was some top of head injury. Kansas City police confirmed the boy died from a fatal neck injury at the end of the ride. Sounds like it was more of a decapitation in the middle of the ride, but, whatever. Blood was spotted all over the site. This is a horror scene, dude.
Yeah.
This is so gruesome. Which had they just threw tarps over it to cover it. They're just like, yeah, we don't want kids seeing this. The boy's body was covered up with a sheet. Kelsey Friedrichsen said she's seen Caleb fly out of the ride after the first drop, and then he hit the netting, and then plummeted 50 feet.
I heard reports that witnesses heard the following right before the incident occurred.
Get out of my car now!
I don't know.
Are you serious?
Possibly pushed.
Wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
But he's like, but I want to just finish the ride.
Out of my car now! God damn you to hell!
That's brutal. I hadn't heard that. That's amazing if that's true, though. Meanwhile, an online fund has raised more than $25,000 to cover funeral expenses for the family. A funeral for Caleb is scheduled for Friday. What is that funeral going to be like? I'm seriously asking.
Single casket or two? Is that what you're asking?
Sort of. I mean, what do they do? Do we go?
Do you use one of those magician boxes that comes apart? No?
I'm totally.
You know what I mean?
It's not even. Yes, I do know what you mean, and I think that's a fair question. I'm not even trying to be funny about this. Do we attempt to stitch back on and go turtleneck? What's the play here for real?
I think you probably, number one, go closed single casket. You know, if we're being serious.
Is that what?
And yeah,
there
you
are-
probably do. You know, attach it somehow. Sure.
You do?
At
You don't
least
just
place it where it would normally go. Right?
Okay. No, I know. Here's why I asked, because I know there are some cultures where they're having an open casket, and it leads to some very gruesome things in the casket.
Yeah. Well, then you've got to go turtleneck.
I mean, you would.
Dicky?
Or Dicky. I was going to say, can you go Dicky?
I guess you can go Dicky because it really doesn't matter. He doesn't need the rest of the shirt underneath.
Yeah.
You go high collar. You know, buttoned all the way to the top of the tie. Definitely a tie.
Yeah.
Tie with a pop collar, or a high collar, I guess. Yeah.
You don't pop the collar on this. Definitely. There's no pop. There will be no pop collar.
Why wouldn't a pop collar work? I think a pop collar would be
It's
great
gonna
to
be
cover
open
up.
in the front.
Can't you do it all the way up and have it all popped? Like he forgot to put his tie on, but he was about to put it
Yeah,
on?
I guess that could work.
Yeah. Oh, it's so grim. That's so grim. That poor family. The other brothers and sisters were there. And
Yeah,
stuff.
there's
I
some
think they-
statement by a witness, like a brother, like was screaming at the worker or something like, "You made me have to watch my younger brother die," or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's just so horrific.
I know.
The last thing you'd expect at something like that.
I know. It's not good. Not pretty.
Put too
You
much
know-
trust into these damn parks and stuff. And the same day, I think there was a damn Ferris wheel where
the
the thing
two chicks-
overturned. I think 3 little kids fell out of that, like 30 or 40 feet down.
Yeah, I thought I heard 2 girls. Was it 3
That's
that
what I
fell?
heard.
Yeah. They're not dead, though, right? I
No,
think
one's got a significant head injury, though, I think.
Well, and then Cedar Point, yesterday I think had to shut down the dragster because they had a.
They have a body fly out of it?
No, but a cable issue. The cable. I don't know. I didn't read the article.
The
It didn't look like-
dragster's the one that goes
Yes.
like fucking
Dude.
hauling balls like a rocket ship.
I
That thing was
can't
awesome.
believe it doesn't go off the top. I just can't believe.
I know,
I don't know
it's-
how it makes that turn at the top.
I can't believe they let that legless guy in it and that got shot out the top. Remember Russell was telling us all about
That was that was bullshit, right? That was conflated with a different
Oh,
story.
it was a military guy that had lost his legs.
that wasn't at the dragster, though, was it?
That's what Russell said.
No, it
I don't
wasn't.
know.
Remember, we looked
Go
up,
look
it was-
on this one.
Sorry.
We looked it up, and the son of a bitch did go flying out of like a New Jersey amusement park.
Was he
or something.
legless? Why would you put a legless guy in any roller
yeah.
coaster? No offense to a legless guy, but no. You can't. That's one of the things. There's certain things you just can't do anymore. Dunk a basketball, ride on roller coasters. Like, sorry, you just don't. Of all the things you can do whatever you want, but you can't do that anymore. Is that the dragster?
Launch cable detaches on Cedar Point's Top Thrill Dragster ride, closed Monday.
Dude, that's the craziest ride at Cedar Point.
It is.
Seriously, like that was, I think, like the first thing we went on.
Yeah.
When we went last summer, and that Top Thrill Dragster is crazy.
But what did we
badass
decide was
it
the
is.
best one, though? The Maverick.
I was gonna
right?
say the Maverick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maverick
Is
is
that
so badass in the back of the park.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that the
And it's
orange
underrated.
one where you like your legs hang down and
No.
you go?
No, it's underrated. It's like people, I don't know, they don't focus on that one. They focus on the highest ones and shit. But that's the craziest ride, that Maverick.
Is it? There were 2
It's my
of them.
favorite at the park right now. Oh, now they have the new one, so I haven't been there for the new one. But as of the last time I went, it was my favorite ride.
There was another one we went on that we were both just like, dude, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was another one of those roller coasters, I think, where you sat but your legs dangled down and you held on. Remember, it was smooth.
Yeah.
But it had all kinds of turns and whips.
The
That was-
Raptor.
maybe.
No, it was probably the newer one, the one right at the front. The
Oh,
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're taking down the mean streak. They closed
Yes,
the mean
finally.
streak. Actually, they didn't say they're taking it down. They said they're closing it. And I wonder if they're gonna like reconfigure it somehow. 'Cause
they-
that's their big main wooden one, man.
Right,
And
I thought
coaster enthusiasts love that shit.
Really?
Yeah, there's people who are like they swear by the wood, and that was a very highly rated wood roller coaster, but it was rough as shit. I think probably
that's
too
the
many
one that
people
hurts your
complained.
neck.
Yeah.
See, for whatever reason, I always thought the Gemini was their premier wood one.
Well, back in 1982.
Okay, so the Mean Streak was newer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it came out in 91 or something.
Okay, all right. Clock Boy.
That son of a bitch. I hate
Saw
this
this,
kid.
dude. I saw this.
He's bringing a lawsuit.
Yes.
Go away, Clock Boy.
Yeah. What was his name? Ahmed Muhammad. The family of the Muslim boy arrested after bringing the homemade clock to school have sued the Texas school system, saying they violated the boy's civil rights. Sounds like attorneys getting in a family's ear. Oh, you might have a lawsuit here.
Might as well throw something at the wall.
The lawsuit was filed this week on behalf of Ahmed Muhammad. The family has since moved to Qatar, citing threats and a scholarship offered to him in the Persian Gulf country.
He had plenty of scholarships offered here, didn't he?
Yeah.
Remember he did the whole world tour. NASA wanted him. MIT wants him. God, the son of a bitch took a digital clock and unscrewed it, took out the innards.
And put it into a pencil box.
What a dick brain.
Yeah. He spent the summer back in Texas after spending 8 months studying in Qatar. He'll return to Qatar next month to start 10th grade. For the safety of my family, I have to go back to Qatar. This is going to make you just nauseous, dude. Because right now, it's not very safe for my family or anyone who's a minority in this country. For the safety of my family, I have to go back there. While in Texas, Ahmed said he had to wear a hat, sunglasses, and a hoodie to hide himself. I can't walk out of the house without being covered up because I might get shot because that happens here. I really love the States. It's my home, but I couldn't stay. I get death threats. I have lost a lot of things. I've lost my home. I've lost my creativity. Is this all to sweeten the lawsuit?
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Sure.
I've lost my creativity because before I used to love building things and now I can't.
No, see, this is setting up why he's going to fail at. After he fails at MIT, when they take him in, then he can point to this and be like, "Yeah, I'm just stupid because I lost my creativity and all that. I was super smart before."
The teen's parents have not found work yet in Qatar. That's got to be tough. So the family of 8 is living in government housing and on food stamps. Ahmed said he missed the diversity in America and hoped his story could serve as a positive talking point about the challenges Muslims face. I want to help change Texas for a better state. Oh, Ahmed.
How are you going to be doing that over in Qatar? Shouldn't he have stayed then? And
What the lawsuit is going to speak to.
okay, sorry.
People really have this kid believing he's a victim of sorts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's the problem here. The thing that sucked about this story, and I know people politically get on either side of this argument, about, oh, is someone's civil rights being violated? The problem with this story all along to me, and I think to you, was the fact that this kid was kind of known as a shithead and rabble-rouser a little bit. Teachers were saying that. Think about that. Teachers coming out and talking to the press going, yeah, it wouldn't surprise us if the kid made something that he knew would look like a bomb to scare people in class, which is why the reaction was gotten. He knew what reaction he'd get. This is kind of par for the course with this kid. He wasn't singled out because he's a Muslim and of course, as a Muslim, he's got to be building a bomb. That's what they all do. No, he went to his class, if you remember, to his engineer teacher or whatever, and the teacher was just like, yeah, dude, don't show that to anybody else. It looks like a fucking bomb. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he put it in his bag. And then another teacher heard it ticking. Things ticking in class. And that's when she pulled out, and the principal sent him to the principal. And the principal's like, it looks like a fucking movie bomb, kid. Sorry. And they called the authorities. What?
I guess I haven't been giving him credit then. He's made a digital clock tick.
Or it beeped. Maybe
Okay.
it beeped. He didn't set the alarm right or something. But either way.
He was hitting snooze all day.
Exactly. And it kind of perked people's ears up. And so it's easy to point to them targeting a Muslim kid, but if you hear those details and you look at it, it's easy to go, okay, we're always told if you see something, say something.
Vigilant.
Yes, be vigilant. We need the public's help. We can't do this alone. Blah, 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 blah. You're told all these things, and the minute they do, it's a target. You're a target now for abuse and cries of racism and lawsuits. I think the school... Think about what this country would do if they did nothing and the kid's bomb bag went off in class.
Yeah.
Imagine then what would happen.
Everybody would be covering their asses. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see anything. Had no idea.
We heard that with San Bernardino. Remember, the neighbors like, oh, yeah, we knew something was going on there. A late night, all men coming over there, some building going on in the garage. And they found a bomb-making factory there after the fact, but they were too worried about looking like they were profiling Muslims to do anything. So I think this falls into the same category. I don't know. I guess we'll see where this goes, but I can't imagine there's too many legs. Publicly, I'm sure there will be outrage from people wanting, feeling bad for the kid. He's already gotten to tour the world. As you said, go to MIT and every other damn school. Anyway, speaking of immigrants, this story, I don't know why this story made me laugh so hard, but this Chinaman, 31-year-old Chinaman.
What do we got?
Well, he was forced to spend 12 days in a refugee home.
Oh, I read this.
He was mistaken for an asylum seeker. And so he's sitting there for 12 days with these assholes. When he reported, he goes to the police station. And he reports, "Roast my word, I can't find it anywhere." And they're like, "Yeah, what are you saying, dude?"
Come again.
And he's like, "Okay, I roast my word and I can't find. Help find the word." And
They're like asylum stamp.
"Oh, you're an asylum seeker." "Yes, can't find the word." "All right, so you need to go to that room." He's like, "Very good." He's just
He
back.
literally was asking about his wallet.
Yeah, he's
and
asking
got
about-
chucked in the asylum line.
He didn't speak a lick of German or English, which would have been very, very beneficial at this point.
Right.
Instead, he spoke Chinese, and so he just kept going, "I can't find the word, please. Please, help me find my word." And they're like, "Yeah, I don't know." So he's like, "It's somewhere in the west of Germany." And they're like, "I can't help you, pal." So he ended up in a different municipal office there, which handed him an application for asylum. And his passport was taken from him.
So he filled it out in triplicate.
Well, yeah, he didn't know. They're like, sign here. And he's like, okay, sign here. And so he throws his John Hancock on it. And then he was swiftly placed 260 miles away in an asylum center. They said, yeah, his passport was taken from him after he got tangled up in the red tape of the migrant influx by mistake.
Imagine how many times during the process he's poking somebody on the shoulder. No.
Just looking for
wallet.
the warrant. Please. I'm here on vacation.
At what point did he give up and just like,
I guess I live here now. Very good. Not bad. They're like, yeah, machinery kicked into gear from which he couldn't immediately escape. The man complied with standard procedures. All of a sudden, they're fingerprinting him because he's a refugee now. Including, so he's rolling his drink. Yes, very good. Don't know why you need that, but if it helps find my warrant, very good. Let's do that. Maybe they're going to find my fingerprints on other wallets and match them. So he keeps giving his fingerprints. And then he had to undergo a medical exam. They're sticking fingers in orifices and shit, making him turn his head and cough. Don't know why this matters, but okay. And then they gave him some pocket money, which is great. Gave him a little kicking around money. Staff eventually were like, something about this refugee stands out. His clothes are even too nice. Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't look like you're.
Wang doesn't fit in.
Yeah, he doesn't fit at all. And so they thought he was just too well dressed to be an asylum seeker. And when the likelihood of a mistake dawned on him, they're like, I don't think he belongs here. I think he really is just missing his warrant. So what do they do? Do they bring in
How many days is this in?
12 days, dude. He's sitting in this fucking facility.
Sleeping on a cot, like this big open room with 80 other people.
Yeah, none of them speak his language, and he's just like, I just figured to find my warrant soon so I can get back to my backpacking vacation through to Germany. And so he's sitting there. And so what do? They bring in a professional translator. No, they just call the local Chinese restaurant.
No way.
Yes, and they're like, can you talk to him? Can you talk? And he's like, good. They're like, what would you like to eat? We recommend
General Zhao number 2.
Generous as fuck Generous as chicken. No, I'm looking for a warrant. And so finally the Chinese restaurant and this guy, they were like, yeah, he's not fucking looking for asylum. Sure, he's on vacation. He's backpacking. He's simply saying he lost his wallet, and you guys threw him in jail for 12 days. So
Incredible.
So he's finally been able to set off for France and Italy now, and he's back on his backpacking trip. How fucking awesome is that? Poor guy.
Talk about a passive dude. I mean, would you go 12 days? At some point,
No.
You'd grab somebody by the scruff. Look, man.
Yeah, you would think you would do. What do you
You'd
do?
try to write something. I don't know. I guess if all you know is Mandarin, you're not going to know the English alphabet necessarily, but
Yeah, but you would think you could mime it or something.
Yeah.
Like somebody would listen to you somewhere.
how do you mime? I'm not seeking asylum.
He's familiar with the Pictionary. 2 words. First word rhymes with fallet. It's a warrant. You familiar with a warrant? Yeah, I don't know what you do, but you think 12 days, like, dude.
You'd come up with something, right?
That's what I would. That's like what I would do. It'd be like, oh yeah, I had this magic thing in my pocket that allowed me to get money at will. Like I had a card in there and everything, and I put it in a little machine, and I type a number in, and it gives me money. I don't have that anymore, so I guess I don't do that anymore. So I don't know what I do now, and so maybe I could end up in that center and just like 12 days later find myself sitting there like, somebody ought to figure this out at some point. I don't think I couldn't see you sitting in there for 12 days.
No, shit, man. In a day, I'd figured you'd figure something out, right?
Yeah, they seem rather passive. I don't know, man. There's probably so many people with a story that people in there that are just like, there's so many of them
Yeah.
that all have
They're like,
their
yeah,
story.
whatever. Go away. Go away,
whatever.
Chang.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Do your thing. So maybe just nobody would listen to him, but yeah, that's unbelievable. Poor guy. Please, someone help, please. Very good. Did you hear about that mayor of Virginia?
Yeah, the guy who was trying to trade drugs for sex.
Hell yes.
Sex.
Yeah, he was the mayor of Fairfax, Virginia. I shouldn't say just Virginia. Fairfax, Virginia. He's resigning now, following an arrest for allegedly attempting to trade meth for group sex sessions with dudes. Yeah. Scott Silverthorne, his resignation will take effect on Thursday at noon following his arrest. He was also fired from his job as a substitute teacher in the public schools.
Well, yeah, I would hope.
Yeah, it
What's
seems-
the going rate, E? Like, how much meth do you...
Don't know.
What do you think? I mean, is it like, I don't know how meth
I don't even
comes
know how.
Yeah,
I don't
it
even
was
know how meth is weighed in or
like
how
one
much
hit?
Yeah.
One hit of meth?
What?
I'm unfamiliar with the methamphetamine.
I'm very unfamiliar with meth as well. Is it do you smoke meth? Do you eat meth? Do you snort meth?
I think you
I'm
can do
pretty
all
sure-
of them, all the above.
Right.
You have a Google machine, E. See what you can find us about meth. Does one hit last like 12 hours or
Right.
like 5 minutes?
I think
Like,
most people smoke it.
they do. Yeah, I'm not sure. So anyway, he's fired from his job as the teacher. I don't know why they would do that, but police say they received a tip that he was using a dating website to set up sexual encounters with other men in exchange for the drugs. Why? I don't understand why you would need to entice men to have sex with drugs. Like, seems like man on man, you could get an orgy organized in no time, lickety split with dudes.
Yeah.
I would just think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm naive to this. E,
Sorry.
is it easy to get a group of men together in a room to have? I would think that would be easy.
I don't know personally, but I would agree that it probably is. If you're willing, if there's places like the Jacks that the men would be willing to just walk in naked and jerk off in front of each other, I feel like it'd be just as easy to say, hey, why don't we instead of just this jerking off part, why don't we start boo-fooing each other?
Well putty.
Yeah, and I don't want to shame these guys by any stretch. I mean, there's a lot of
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say,
I would think if you were that guy, you could just go on a gay. There's probably gay orgy sites out there. You just go, hey, anyone interested? I'm having a bunch of the dudes over Friday night at 8. We'll have some drinks.
Maybe it's hard
We'll
to
do
break into that, and you're just going after whores. I don't know.
Maybe. It just seems like no one's going to bother you if you do that. And it's like, hey, I have the boys over every Friday night. We get it on really hardcore for a couple hours, and then we all go our separate ways. When you start doing the drug trade thing, it seems like you're just opening yourself up to problems.
Especially when you're a mayor.
Right. Yeah, and a substitute teacher to public school, too. That seems like they'd frown on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Although this sounds like consenting adults. I don't know what this has to do with the kids.
so he's using this dating website to offer people meth for butt sex. Police set up the sting operation, posting a profile on the website, and they expected would appeal to him, so they knew what he was into.
There are people who don't want to do other things. If you want ice cream, you don't go to a barbecue shop.
Imagine the smell in that room, the sweat, after a rousing round of docking.
Docking is the insertion of one man's glands into the foreskin of another's.
So they set up this profile like, these are the kinds of dudes he likes. This is the kind of dick shape he prefers,
Right.
Length and everything. So we'll make the perfect trap for him. And so within 2 days, he'd responded and contacted undercover officers, and then the trap is set. So Thursday evening, Silverthorne gave an undercover detective 2 grams of meth outside a hotel before his arrest. So he shows up at the hotel with his meth thinking, I am mere moments away.
What's 2 grams get you, E?
You can. And you just like what you said, by the way. Snort, inhale, ingest. It says it just different preferences. Apparently, 2 grams of meth. I'll just like.
Yeah, what's that get you?
How big of a high is 2 grams of meth? Can you get pretty fucked up on 2 grams of meth? Will 2 grams of meth get you high?
I'm gonna look up. I was looking
For
how much
weeks
it was.
or days or hours?
I don't. Yeah.
I know. We're putting a lot on your plate, E. I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah, he thinks he's about to get it on big time, and then he gets handcuffs put on him. What a boner killer. Oh. He commented on his arrest on Facebook, writing, I ask that you allow the process to proceed before rushing to judgment, as tough as that may be. I don't think this is going to go well for him. So the city's day-to-day operations are continuing as normal under direction of the city manager. This guy had a rough year, though, man. I feel kind of bad for him. He won his third term as the mayor after, in the same year that he lost his job with the National Association of Manufacturers. Sounds like a hoot of a job. He filed for bankruptcy, lost his home to foreclosure, and was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, boy.
And now this.
Wow.
On top of it. That's a rough go, dude. I got to say, he has mastered his smile, though. Those are 2 separate pictures. Just focus on the smile.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a unique smile.
He's got it down. Sort of a little bit of crooked mouth.
A little curl to it.
Yeah, he's got it.
He's got this. I mean, notice the hairstyles are completely different.
The clenched teeth, just, partially open mouth.
He's looked at that in the mirror and gone, that's my smile.
That's my smile.
That's it right there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's. It looks like 2 grams would be about $160.
Okay.
So what do you get for $160?
Don't know.
How much gay sex can you get for $160?
I don't know.
Okay.
Most shitty prostitutes, I'm sure you can get depends if you're talking oral or fucking, insertion, I'm sure.
I wonder if it matters, guys versus girls, because if you try to do an orgy with prostitutes, I think you'd have to pay more for that for chicks. I wonder if the going rate for a male hooer is cheaper. E?
I don't know.
Yeah, no idea.
I know as much about it as you do, my man. I've never tried to get a male prostitute. So.
Just thought I'd throw that out there. I wasn't expecting anyone in the room to know. Just
Well, you said my name specifically.
if anyone was going to know, I figured it'd be you. Did you guys see Trump was in town yesterday?
Yep, Detroit Economic Club.
It was,
He got shouted down a few times, did he?
he sure did. 14 times, I believe.
I heard him this morning, though. He was saying, oh, yeah, these Hillary supporters, they're nothing compared to Bernie's.
Yeah, the Bernie ones were more
more
vocal.
passionate.
Yeah. He was given his economic speech at the Detroit Economic Club. Interrupted 13 times from protesters, mostly women who yelled slogans to him. One was yelling about victimized females. Another, you have to answer to women, Mr. Trump. And then they drag him out of there. There was one guy who yelled, tiny hands! All you've got is tiny hands! And they dragged his ass out of there, too.
Just cut into the core.
Yeah. Eventually, but it was funny. What I noticed when I watched it was usually he's very get him out of there, beat his ass, whatever.
Yeah, you can't be doing that anymore.
Yeah, and he didn't. He was for the most part. I think it was killing him too. He would just stand and kind of shake his head and let people drag these people
Right.
out one by one as each one of them piped up. He stayed mute and didn't act like his normal self. So he's definitely, someone's gotten through to him that you got to start acting more presidential.
Were they sprinkled in like every 5 minutes or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
It wasn't just all together.
It's all very planned out. And that's when he said, I would say Bernie Sanders people have far more energy and spirit. A left-wing group called Michigan People's Campaign claimed credit for organizing the protest, said its members each purchased tickets to the speech, which cost about $100.
Way to go, Michigan People's Campaign.
The organization said in a press release it was protesting against Trump's stance on sexual harassment. That's hilarious. Of all things. Like, are they...
Was it his comments supporting Roger Ailes or what?
Oh, maybe. But was he really supporting Roger Ailes' behavior? Or
No, he's just
Just
saying
giving
like,
us-
he was a great guy.
he's a great guy. I might use him to run my campaign. He's a genius. But that seems like a weird thing to go after Trump for when you're staring at Hillary Clinton. I mean, with what the allegations against her husband are way worse. I mean, there are actual rapes that are accused with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, am I gapping on something? What's the big sexual harassment issue with Trump?
Well, there was the report by who was the wife? I get Ivanka and Ivana mixed up.
Ivanka is the daughter.
So
Ivana is her mom.
So Ivana, one of them wrote. He's been married a few times. So one of them wrote a book, and in there claimed that when they were married, he raped her or something.
That's
remember,
right.
remember that there was
Yeah.
some, and then she took it back.
Yeah.
So who knows what the real story was there?
Might have been Marla Maples, actually, but yeah.
Maybe. Okay, that's the name I was trying to remember, Marla. So I don't know, maybe it's going back to that, but there are loads of women who have come out about Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And Hillary has shot down those women and fucking called those chicks Looney Tunes, like all that shit. So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, yeah, Trump's getting killed. Do you see the
He is, man.
the 50 Republican national security experts that came out?
Yes, dude. Just
Writing a
saying he's
letter.
unfit.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Dangerous.
Yeah. I liked their letter. Do you want to hear some of it?
Sure.
So they kind of say who they are and where they're from, and I've got the list of 50. We won't go through them, but most fundamentally, Mr. Trump lacks the character, values, and experience to be president. He weakens U.S. Moral authority as the leader of the free world. He appears to lack basic knowledge about and belief in the U.S. Constitution, U.S. laws, and U.S. institutions, including religious tolerance, freedom of the press, and an independent judiciary. In addition, Trump has demonstrated repeatedly that he has little understanding of America's vital national interests, its complex diplomatic challenges, its indispensable alliances, and the democratic values on which U.S. foreign policy must be based. At the same time, he persistently compliments our adversaries and threatens our allies and friends. Unlike previous presidents who had limited experience in foreign affairs, Trump has shown no interest in educating himself. He continues to display an alarming ignorance of basic facts of contemporary international politics. Despite his lack of knowledge, he claims that he understands foreign affairs and knows more about ISIS than the generals do. Mr. Trump lacks the temperament to be president. A president must be willing to listen to his advisors, department heads, must encourage consideration of conflicting views, must acknowledge errors and learn from them. A president must be disciplined, control emotions. They go on to say, and act only after reflection and careful deliberation. Blah, 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 blah. We understand that many Americans are profoundly frustrated with the federal government and its inability to solve pressing domestic and international problems. We also know that many have doubts about Hillary Clinton, as do many of us. But Donald Trump is not the answer to America's daunting challenges and to this crucial election. We are convinced that in the Oval Office, he would be the most reckless president in American history.
And what is his response? Just, you're all insiders.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
elitists.
what can you say?
I know.
Yeah,
I
his
think that's what you do, and then you refocus on Hillary.
Yeah. His response, in part, was, the names on this letter are the ones the American people should look to for answers on why the world is a mess, and we thank them for coming forward so everyone in the country knows who deserves the blame for making the world such a dangerous place. They're nothing more than the failed Washington elite looking to hold on to their power, and it's time they're held accountable for their actions. These insiders, along with Hillary Clinton, are the owners of the disastrous decisions to invade Iraq, allow Americans to die at Benghazi. They're the ones who allowed the rise of ISIS, yet despite these failures, they think they're entitled to use their favor trading to land taxpayer-funded government contracts and speaking fees. It's time we put our foot down and declare that their gravy train is over. No longer will Hillary Clinton and the other disasters in Washington get rich at our expense. Instead, I offer a better vision for our country and our foreign policy, one that is not run by a ruling family dynasty. It's an America First vision that stands up to foreign dictators instead of taking money from them, seeks peace over war, rebuilds our military, and makes other countries pay for their share of their protection. Together, we will break up the rigged system in Washington, make America safe again, and make America great again.
Trump could not have written that because that's actually a really good response to that.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That, whatever, I'll read it. I'll put it out there.
Number one, it was more than 140 characters. Number two, that was well thought out.
Yep.
And
hits home with a lot of that will register with a lot of people. That statement, because there are a lot of people who feel that way, that are tired of seeing Washington elites keep getting and doing their tour of duty as a civil servant and then going on to speaking tours and plush jobs somewhere in well-paying industry. Like, we've seen all that too much, and it does feel like an inner circle that's hard to break into, impossible to get out of, and takes care of themselves.
Yeah, I like the reference to the ruling family, right? The Bushes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know what this will matter. There's a lot of people who think it's over for Trump. He can't. You're one of them. A lot of people feel that way. I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But there's one thing that's for certain: the way that this country has gone, the way it is in Washington, is absolutely the same with Hillary Clinton as it's been for forever. If people are looking for something totally different, and who knows? I mean, this is no risk or no reward without risk, right?
Yeah, right.
So are you prepared for the potential? God, I wish we could make that happen, dude, where we give him a 6-month trial. I just wish that was dude, just for this one time with this one president, if the whole thing doesn't come off the hinges in 6 months, we'll let him finish out the term. Just to see.
And how do we decide, is it off the hinges? What does that define?
Take a vote.
Have we launched a nuclear warhead during the 6 months?
Have we, did jobs come back?
Yeah.
No.
Is America great again?
Yeah, I mean, if we all agree as a country, and
that
I think
America is great again.
that you need 85%
consensus
from all of us that America is great again. He's got 6 months to make it great again. I don't know.
It'd have to be a year, 6 months. There's nothing.
I think the problem is that so many people think that the government is supposed to do for them something that it can't do and isn't supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the government of America cannot make you rich, cannot make you work hard, cannot make you successful. Like, that's not its role. And I feel like we're getting off track on what the role of the federal government is.
We've been off track.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying, though? I don't
know.
I don't know if I'm voicing that properly, but it feels like...
The perfect example is, what was that lady that went viral during the Obama run? It was like, now I'm going to get my phone. The Obama phones.
Right. Where's mine? Where's my head? It's like, well, the system wasn't meant to, like...
Getting phones.
Yeah, my Obama phone. There's a lot of people that are like, he promised hope and change, and I'm just as fucked as I was 8 years ago. It's like, well, yeah.
But still going to vote Democrat.
Right.
That's what I do.
What was that? Is that the Obama phone lady? Yeah, this lady.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone?
Do more.
How did he give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
I have a question. Okay, what's wrong with Romney again?
Romney, he sucks. Bad.
Well put.
Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody.
What's wrong with Romney? Romney, he sucks. Bad.
He's not a Democrat.
Well put. So unfortunately, there's no president that's going to fix that.
No,
it doesn't exist. Anyway, should we take a? Should we make a phone call?
Yeah, let's call Andy.
Should we call our boy Andy Farrington? Part of the Red Bull, how would you describe him? Part of the Red Bull Air Force team?
Yep.
Been in movies, and most recently was a part of that jump, the Luke Aikens, right?
One of the most accomplished skydivers in the world right now.
Absolutely. And so let's blow in a call to him, and we'll ask him some details about how that Fox jump went last week.
This is Andy.
Andy.
How's it going?
Hey, buddy. It's Mike and Jay from the Detroit Cast. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Very well. Do you remember us, Andy? We're the guys that jumped with you in Detroit.
Yep, I do. On that little island out there, we had a good old time.
Yeah, Belle Isle.
Scary. Well, it was good for you. It was actually an amazing time, but that was scary as shit.
Right?
Yeah. So
I enjoyed it. It was a good way to see Detroit, and made a good impression on what Detroit looks like.
Yeah, so you've done over 20,000 jumps, and you actually remember that one. Are you just bullshitting us?
No way. Remember them all.
Nice.
Do you remember them all? Do they all have something unique about them?
I'd say a good chunk of them for sure. So whether
Yeah.
you remember everything about them,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that was a pretty dang nice day, and everybody's got a pretty good feeling on Detroit that it's a complete garbage dump in general, and it was pretty dang nice.
Yeah, that was fun, and leading up to the Red Bull races, it was cool. But we were watching the Fox event the other day, last week, I guess, with your cousin, right? That was your cousin that jumped to Luke Aikens.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, and so Jay and I were doing the story and talking about it and how crazy it was.
And we were, of course, hearkening back to our jump, like, oh yeah, we did what 12,000 feet. Of course, we had parachutes and talking about it. And then we're watching the video, and they're like, yeah, there goes Luke Aikens. He's out of the plane, and there's his cousin Andy Farrington. And I looked at Mike, I'm like, holy shit,
we both
that's
looked
the
at
dude.
each other like, hey, that's our guy.
Yeah.
How did
world?
Yeah. How did that whole Fox? How did Fox get involved with something like this?
I mean, the project started, quite a while ago, and definitely needed, spot to air it. And I don't know how much into the extreme sports Fox does necessarily, but I'm sure there's a lot of the stations that had the opportunity, but were like, I don't think so. Of course, we're not going to air that on live TV.
Yeah.
And whether I'm not sure whether Fox had to be convinced to air it live on TV, or if they're kind of open for it. But after you saw all the testing and everything like that, it was, I think everybody is feeling pretty good.
Well, wasn't there something, though, at the end where they were going to require him, the Screen Actors Guild was going to require him to wear a chute, even though he wasn't going to pull it? He's like, look, I'm 100% not pulling this thing, and all you're doing is risking a back injury.
Yep, for sure.
So how did that get resolved then? Were you guys just in the plane, and did he just go, fuck it, I'm not wearing this?
For the most part, yes. We basically determined that there was not going to be any chance that he was going to wear a parachute for the real jump, but then we were just going to take it off in the plane just at the very last minute. And I don't know. They said there was talks ahead of time and everything like that, but Luke wasn't aware of the talks necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of think they just made it up a little bit once they saw on the live air to ground that he didn't have a parachute on. Then they're like, oh, yeah, we'll sign off on it that says he doesn't have to wear a parachute. I think that was them a little bit backpedaling, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was crazy. So what was your role then? I thought they said like you were he was so high up that he was using like oxygen canisters, and was your role to grab those things from him?
Yeah. So like you said, you run out of oxygen pretty quick that high up, and the last time kind of landing in that net, hitting that net, you just want less stuff in general. Whether the oxygen that he was using, he just held in his hand also because we were going to do the transfer, but you obviously don't want an oxygen tank, smacking you in the face as you hit this net doing 120 miles per hour, to survive the jump perfectly and everything, but to knock your teeth out with a oxygen tank seemed like that'd be pretty stupid thing to do. So we just thought the less stuff he had with him was the better, and it did make for good TV and everything like that.
So my understanding is he had some tech behind this. He had GPS, I guess, in his helmet, and then also a transponder or whatever you call it on the ground, where it was sort of like letting him know if he was still on course. So you guys, of course, as we said, jumped at 25,000 feet, and then he's got to hone in on this 100-foot net, was it?
Yep, 100 by 100.
Yeah, 100 by 100. So how did that work with the GPS and everything?
So it was a little thing in his ear that was telling him his forward speeds. And, you know, as long as he had that forward speed down to 0, then we knew he was falling straight down. And then from there, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but if you kind of look up VASI lights or anything like that, they let you know your glide slope when airplanes land.
Okay.
And that's what he was basically using. But glide slope, obviously, you're coming in on the angle and everything like that. This, obviously, he was coming straight down. So he had this lighting system that he made up and designed. And as long as the lights were all white, he was good to go. So he was inside this little tiny box. And he did, 80 jumps using that, at our drop zone here in Washington. So he was all dialed in. And when he was training, he even had the lights down to 26 by 26. And he would be flying his body inside that size box.
Wow.
So obviously he had a decent amount of room to spare from his training jumps.
Well, I'd say he fell out of that 26 by 26 range, Andy, because it looked like he landed on that 1/3, that last third of the net. I was worried he was going to miss it.
Yep. So, he'll tell you, we'll tell you, everybody will tell you he's a little bit farther out than he really wanted to be. Where he landed was that safe margin right there.
Okay.
So kind of any farther out of that, then we would have been definitely, gasping and being like, wow, we really screwed that one up.
Really? So it was kind of that close to being on that edge.
Yeah, it was on that, safer edge of it for sure. So, but throughout even that whole time and everything, they did a bunch of testing jumps and everything, dropping just a lead weight that was his same surface area and everything like that. And they're just throwing that out of the airplane and the helicopter quite a bit and hitting this net to make sure that he wouldn't get, kicked out of the net or anything like that.
Yeah. This is how ignorant I am to physics and this whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
me too.
I'm wondering, like, if you're up there and you jump at 25,000 feet, like how far? Obviously, you're going to jump pretty much straight over the net, right? I mean, you're going to try to be as straight over it as you can. Whoa, are we on a
so you'll be
four-wheeler
right
or
over
something?
the net.
So we're going to try to be right over the net, but with wind and everything, you might sift out of that area. Like, could you start, like, say, 2 miles from the net and just go, like, flying 2 miles? I mean, what's realistic here? Because I've seen Point Break, and I saw what happened to Johnny Utah, and I saw him go catch Bodie.
Yep.
So is that realistic?
So you're extremely maneuverable up there. You can fly, pretty close to anywhere you want. As you can tell, sorry, I'm about to go make a skydive here really quick, so I got to unplug the airplane. So, will that work for you if I have to hang on for 1 sec?
I think he said hang on 1 sec.
Yeah.
Is he flying someone else up?
He's a pilot, so maybe. I mean,
Was he on the phone?
That was the most juvenile question you've ever asked, and you're going to reference your point of reference is Point Break.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves did this.
Movie?
Yeah, we're acting like this was first done on Fox. This was not first done on Fox. This was done on hey.
Right. Sorry about that.
No,
That's
sorry
all right.
to interrupt your business, man. We should mention your family business in Washington there. I mean, started by your grandpa. It's family run. You guys skydive like crazy out there, eh?
Kapowsin Ace Air Sports, right? Do I have that right?
Yep, you got it. So,
Kapowsin.com. Yeah, if anyone's out listening in the Washington State area, it's beautiful. Go up there and they'll take good care of you. I don't remember where we were.
Hard to be with all the mountains and everything. So if they dropped them, so obviously the aircraft has GPS. So then when we're flying over the exact track and everything.
You guys aren't just eyeballing this. from
but you back it
25.
up with your eyeballs. Your eyeballs work pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would try to eyeball it.
Yep, you got it. So you use the GPS and then back it up with the eyeballs, and then you're pretty much all set from there.
No, but let's say he was 2 miles from the destination, could he have made that up in the 25,000 foot fall?
Yep, in the 25,000 he would have.
Bam! That wasn't a stupid question. These guys are looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a dumb question, but so you have that
No
much
such thing as
maneuver.
a dumb question.
You have that much maneuverability in the air that you can seriously make up swaths of land.
2 miles, in fact.
Yep.
Really?
So just when we're skydiving, you know, obviously it would be with a wingsuit or whatever. But when we're skydiving from 13,000 feet with a wingsuit, you know, we can probably cover right about 6 miles.
Wow. And we should mention,
and that's
man,
with opening our parachute. So
yeah, you're the world champion wingsuit jumper, flyer
Yeah.
from
Wingsuit
2014
champion.
and 15, correct?
Yep.
Like world
So-
champ. You're the best freaking wingsuit flyer on the planet.
Pretty good. So, and it wasn't necessarily a sanctioned world event, but the event that we were doing there, it was called Red Bull Aces. And I think we had 36 competitors, you know, from 20 different countries and everything. So we really picked it out and really tried to make it a world event for sure.
You guys need to be in the Olympics.
Hopefully.
How
That'd
cool
be
would that
pretty
be?
nice one day. So,
Hell yeah.
And that's where you guys are jumping off the helicopters, right?
Yep. So we're jumping off of helicopters, and then it's kind of like a giant slalom ski race where you're racing wingsuits around some gates that are hung underneath helicopters. And the last couple of events, we had 4 gates that were being hung underneath the helicopter.
Wow.
Some of the other interesting things you do, Andy, and I don't know how much time you have. I don't want to take up your whole day here, but you get to do some movie stuff. I think you were in the Transformers 3, was it? And some other things. Anytime you see those stunt guys out of the planes, that's actually a person doing that, and you're one of the people doing that.
Yep. So, yeah, we got fortunate enough to, like you said, do the stunt work for Transformers 3, where we got to fly wingsuits around the Chicago skyline past the Sears Tower, which they're calling the Willis Tower now. And then we got to do the stunt work for Iron Man 3. We've done it for Godzilla. So the Point Break movie that just came out, that was a bunch of our friends and teammates that did that.
Really?
So I'm about to take off in the airplane right now, so I don't think it'll get too loud, but it might get too loud. So if it gets too loud, just let me know.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, yeah, in summertime in Washington, you kind of when it's sunny and nice, you just go with it from there and you make the most of it.
Hell yeah.
So you're jumping tandem with somebody right now?
This one, I'm just making a fun jump, what we call it. So I'm just out having a good time and jumping with my wife and a couple of my other buddies.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go, man. We don't want to hold up your whole day. It sounds like you got a lot going on there, but thank you for the time, Andy. Maybe we'll call you down the road and touch base with you.
All righty. I'm here, and anytime. You guys got my number, so anytime you want.
Thanks a lot, man.
Okay, bud.
All
See you,
right.
dude.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
It's
fucking nuts.
It's like a walk in the park, you know? Like, yeah, we're just about to go up and...
That's insane.
Yeah.
I had a lot more questions for him, too.
Oh, me too, man.
Yeah, we'll have to call him back. But I'm fascinated by that. Like, I want to know where I really wanted to go is like, what is your guys' end game? Because if you watch, these guys are paying attention. Obviously, since we did the Red Bull thing last year with them, I've paid more attention and followed more of these stories. And they're always trying to like one up.
Yeah. What's next? What's the next frontier? You just had a guy basically jump from the edge of space.
We had the guy.
Which, by the way, Luke Akins, the cousin we mentioned, was the backup for that stunt. Had that
I was
other
gonna
guy
ask him
chicken
about
out or
that.
something at the last minute, Luke would have done that.
Yeah.
But then my man jumps without a parachute, which we know, Johnny Utah had done, whatever.
Right.
But this was the second time that had been done. What is next? These guys are flying around in these wingsuits, squirrel suits, whatever you want to call it. What's on the horizon, man?
Yeah. I mean, they get as close to mountain cliffs as they can. They, yeah, it's madness. But you just wonder, okay, where is it? Do we reach a point where they're like, all right, that's it. We've pushed it so far. We can't push it any more than this without dying.
I just want to also understand, like, what is the cause? When you read these stories, like we just did yesterday with the paraplegic or the
palsied guy,
the palsied guy jumps tandem first time and the chute doesn't open and they die. Like, what is that bad equipment? Is it a bad packing of the parachute?
The chute.
Is it somebody freaked out? Somebody blacks out? Is there danger of that if you're too high, low oxygen? What's going on when you see these accidents?
Yeah, I don't know, but dude, you're like when we jumped, I was right. Like that guy's on your back. He's right there. Like if I whipped my head back with my helmet and cracked him in the fucking jaw and knocked his ass out, I
Is
suppose
that what's going on here? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Judging by the comments from the owner, who's just like, it comes with the territory,
Yeah.
man. You win some, you lose some. It's sad that these guys can't jump anymore. You know, what with being dead and all. You know, that was basically his attitude. Like, hey, don't point fingers at me, man. I wasn't the one that jumped. I get the feeling that there are probably
Old equipment and shit.
places around the country that do this, and maybe not paying quite as much attention to detail.
Right.
Because all it would take is one bad packing job, and it's nuts, but crazy.
Yeah, Andy Farrington, everybody.
Yeah, Andy Farrington.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford and Holly. We're much closer than you think, and we specialize in getting folks out of their lease up to 12 months early. It doesn't matter what brand or how many miles you have on it. The team at Zott Ford will assist in terminating your current lease with no penalties and hook you up with a sweet new Ford. So dump your overpriced, over-mileage lease and let your friends at Zott Ford make your wildest dreams come true. Check out our astonishing deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. It's Mike and Jay, and some other stuff to get to here. You guys excited for the triumphant return of Poos?
Oh, I forgot about the Poos.
Yeah.
She's coming by for a couple days this week. is it?
Yes, I have to go pick her up as soon as we're done here.
Oh, very good.
Beth is out of town for a couple days, so I have to go grab that poops and bring her over here.
Have to move all important business documents. You may
Please
want to
do.
move your art. I could see the art being in danger.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh my
I could
God.
see the Poos just putting her nose right through your
Oh,
art.
hell yeah. I'm going to have to put it in
Yeah.
the other room or something.
You have to get a hammer and a nail out.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It looked good.
I don't know. You're right.
Pretty good, sweet.
Yeah, that's exactly. She'd be licking it.
Will she be licking her box?
Yeah, probably. I'm excited.
I don't know.
I'm excited to have her running around here.
I like to see her.
Cat litter
I'd like to
box. Cool. Let me taste that food. See if that's any good.
I mean, I want to
Always
see
on
her
the hunt
again.
for
but-
snacks.
Yeah.
She lives with 2 cats, right?
Yeah.
So that should be no concern of hers. There should be no
Yeah, but at
surprise.
Beth's-
You know how dogs
Is it a
are,
different
though.
flavor?
In his mind, this is probably
Her.
completely new again.
No, you know what it is? Yeah, her.
Her.
The thing you're supposed to do is turn the cat litter box around so they can't get into it, and the cats are small enough that they can still get around to it.
Okay.
But I don't usually have Izzy here, so I don't.
The hooded cat litter box we're picturing.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I'll have to turn that thing around.
She'll be
and
diving in if not.
oh yeah, look at those treats for me.
Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, I gotta go pick her up in a little bit. So yeah, you have her for 2 days. So
Very good.
Plan accordingly, gentlemen. Plan accordingly. God, this story, dude. I've had it for a couple days, and
I know. I keep putting it to the back.
I know you do. Oh, it's just grim.
It's not a
man.
dead baby.
It's not a dead baby, but it might as well be. This horrible. The family of this Ohio school teacher killed himself, and they're blaming these teens. Here's the deal. Years ago, this guy's living his life, just going about his day with his wife and his beautiful family.
Lovely partner in life.
Yes, you can see her there in some images. And she's driving on the road. She's got one of the kids in the car that's driving, so obviously a 16-year-old or something, and mom's sitting shotgun. And these punk assholes are in an overpass bridge, and they take a 5-pound rock, boulder, a little mini boulder, and drop it down on the cars passing by on the freeway.
Nice.
And it cracks her in the face.
Oh,
Hits her in the head, and absolutely fucks her world up.
sure.
I mean, you can imagine the damage that would do. And so
She goes from lovely middle-aged woman to looking a little bit like Sloth from the Goonies. It's true. I mean, I'm just right.
no, that's
Just describing for the listeners.
yeah, it's exactly what she looks like. I don't know if I would say that out loud, but yeah. And then you look at this picture, and there's a leaking eye of sorts.
It's weeping, yeah. Little
Just
weepy.
one of them.
Oh boy, they had to put the frickin' the garter around her head.
Yeah,
Yeah, just to identify as female.
probably. Oh yeah, think about that. It's just, oh, that's so
Like,
awful.
no,
dude.
this isn't Sloth from the Goonies. This is a lady.
This is the lady, and we got a pink bandana on her, so you know. But so this guy finally, his name is Randy Budd.
He'd had enough.
He was like, dude, I'm out. I'm fucking out. I can't deal with this shit anymore. My wife is worthless.
Don't you think he got through the toughest times though, and now he's given up? Like, dude, you put in all that time. You got through all that rehab. You went through all those early months.
Yeah, but then it becomes your life.
Don't you think you have a long-term caregiver set up by then?
You would think. The family is saying that Randy Budd did not die from a gunshot wound. Some could argue that he did. He died when those kids threw that rock through the windshield. They killed him like they killed her. The attack on Sharon Budd led to State Senator,
Boy,
Gene Yaw to
till
introduce
death do we part.
legislation. Well, he took that literally, and legislation to bring new fencing regulations. So we want to put like 7-8 foot tall fencing on all the overpasses so that you can't do this type of thing. He also texted his family saying that he loved him, but he texted this. Excuse me. He texted this Gene Yaw before he put a gun in his mouth and said, "Get the fencing thing done."
Wow.
And then he texted his family, "Yeah, I love you." No one was home except him and his wife, who's still kicking along there. And then he told them that he loved him and then pulled the trigger. He's got 3 kids. Bud was the vice president of sales and marketing at this hospital.
Oh, Bud.
Before that, he was a baseball pitcher, even drafted by the Expos.
Wow.
Yeah, back in 1981. Last year he wrote on July 11th, "It'll be 2 years since those bastards decided to throw a 5-pound rock off an overpass and totally disable my Sharon. She's been through hell and back. Most recently, Sharon was admitted to a rehab facility to try to gain some independence. After 7 weeks away from her family, it was decided that she still needs constant care. What a shame. She took so much pride in being a productive mother, wife, friend, daughter, mentor, and teacher. She's had 7 surgeries, lost an eye and part of her brain. And because that part of the brain, that's why she's going to need round the
Yeah, that was a useful part of the brain, was it?
Yeah, it was one of all parts of the brain to lose.
That part.
You need that part, specifically that part.
Medulla oblongata.
Yeah, extremely important. If you can avoid it, don't lose that part. Dylan, so the kids, Dylan, Tyler, and Kiefer, the last names are relevant, were sentenced for the crime back in September of 2015.
Yeah, what'd they get?
They're still serving jail time for this. So, they really laid the law down on them. The kid that actually threw the rock, he must serve 4.5 years. The other kid must serve 10 months, a year and 10 months, excuse me. And Kiefer McGee, who's 18, must serve 11.5 months.
God, that is so senseless.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you just ruin lives.
Does that seem like, I know those are minimum punishments, and they're young.
Well, the two, were the two just with him, though?
Maybe. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely they were.
They weren't all throwing rocks, just the one guy, or were they all throwing?
There were reports that there was a truck driver who said, yeah, something hit my windshield, too, around that same time. So they probably all were. But it could have been one asshole, and dude, I could think of some assholes that we hung out with that would have done something dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And you get tied into that. But, dude, that would so destroy. Imagine just going through life and then some asshole does something like that and destroys your entire existence.
Be hard to forgive, Mike.
Yeah. It sounded like Sharon, take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, the condition she's in. But she said that they were sentenced and their sentencing was just. So...
maybe she meant to say not just.
Yeah, and that part
unjust.
Yeah.
The part of the brain that usually says "un" is not there anymore.
It's not firing properly.
She speaks in opposites now. It's possible.
Anything's possible when you're messing with the
Medulla oblongata.
Exactly. Randy said that we have 4 children. They always went to Sharon. Now they come to me.
Oh, that does suck. That's a lot more responsibility.
As soon as I read that, I was like, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. He's like, dude, they all went to mom. Like everyone growing up, that you just go to mom. Who goes to dad? Now they come to fucking me, and I don't know anything. The hell do you want me to do?
I still think, though, that is, sorry to say this, is suicide really, couldn't he just bolted?
At least
the difference.
At least he didn't shoot her in the face, too. It seems to be the way nowadays.
Right, exactly. Take them all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot his whole family, too. Why not?
I tucked that story way in the back. We're not getting to that one today.
For the last 3 days, you've tucked that horrid
that one's
story.
been behind this one.
You're letting me get to this one today?
Yeah, I sort of put the suicide stories together on the back.
Yeah. That story that Jay's referencing, I won't even get the details.
Family of 5?
Family of 5 and the dad.
All kids, 3 kids under 8.
Yeah.
Take them all out.
Yep. And
she was going to leave him. So
she was going to leave him.
That's how we solved problems.
Beautiful home, too. Absolutely, yeah. Beautiful home, beautiful town, and apparently this asswipe couldn't handle being left by this chick. Apparently she was saying, too, that...
he was abusive.
He was abusive,
years.
but not physically. Just like verbally or something. Don't need bruises to be abusive, and that's why I'm leaving him. She told a friend something like that. The really tragic part of that story, too, was as I read further down the story, said that the poops that lives there was murdered, too.
Oh, he killed the poops,
killed the fucking dog, man.
There'll be no witnesses.
Like, I know this sounds monstrous, like I don't care about the family members. I do. I can, in some warped way, I can see where he's like, oh, I have to kill the 4-month-old because it doesn't have any brothers or sisters anymore, because I killed them, and it doesn't have a mom and a dad. I don't want it to go into foster care and then go through that whole life. So I'm doing them a favor. I can see how someone could justify in their mind.
But what in the hell did the poops do?
But the dog doesn't give a shit. I get feeded over here now. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hairy man moved out and he's fine.
Yeah.
Dude, there was no like, what happened to those other guys
he
that
doesn't
used to
remember
hang
you
out
at
with
all.
me? No, soulless. He just goes and he's like, oh, new couch, cool.
Yeah, memories of you went
Gone. Actually, that's not true.
No,
when,
it is.
When remember when Beth still meets Potato. Yeah.
That was the one that ran away.
Ran away.
What was his real name?
Potato.
It was not a potato. You didn't have a dog named Potato. What the hell was his
They
name?
called him.
Really?
Oh,
Why don't
Potato.
I remember Potato?
I don't know. That was the one that
Did he have
Beth
a
was
fuller name?
searching in the
Dude,
in the
it
woods
wasn't
for-
named Potato. Fuck. It was your dog.
Eve?
Yeah, Eve.
But I think
Potato.
we called him Potato.
Okay.
Hi,
I
Potato.
remember that.
And Potato got loose. But now whenever he sees us, he fucking comes running.
It's she.
She, yeah.
We get these genders straight of these
Sorry.
poos.
Sorry.
matter. Just like you say with the memories, they don't know. If I call my cat, if I'd call my boy cat Tony, if I'd call him Cheryl, would he know?
So we're all on the same page, man. You're saying
Okay.
he and all that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Poos is a she, right?
Poos is
All
a
right.
she.
We move forward.
So this poor guy, yeah, killed himself now with her in the house. Oh, yeah, they now they come to me. Sharon always took care of them.
Hopefully,
coming to
left
me.
her with a full feeding tube or something. I mean,
Yeah, just in case no one found anything for a while. This is going to sound terrible, and I'm just purely out of curiosity. When something like that happens, is sex 100% off the table? Is that gone? Is that gone too? Is that totally off the table for life?
it depends, man. I don't know. I think it depends. I think you might be able to get a nod out of that.
Can you?
Mhm.
I'm totally being serious. Like if it's something where you got this head injury going
Well, wasn't
on,
there
it sucks,
wasn't
but-
there some dude who was being accused of raping his wife because she had dementia
Yeah.
in a nursing home a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Look, we're a married couple. She gave me the nod."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No. She's so far gone. She can't do that. You're just wailing away."
Was that
And
some
part of you goes, it is his wife. She doesn't seem to be overtly objecting.
Yeah, I don't know that she was capable of overtly.
It's a case-by-case analysis.
It is, and I think that was troubling to me because the thought of one of those guys that comes in and cleans the rooms had to like walk in, and this guy's at his pants around his
Yeah.
ankles, and she's strapped to the bed. And he's
Yes.
just banging away on her.
Grab him by the hips.
It's like, hey, a little privacy for me and my wife here.
I think if in this
What do you
situation,
think, E?
if he's gonna stay with her, if he's staying with her, and she sex is off, blah blah blah, but he's still standing by her, he's helping her.
He ought to have some.
He should be allowed to have another side, I guess,
Yeah.
a girl on the
Side
side.
piece.
I think
It's a fair request.
She should be
I'm
able
not
to say
saying it
like,
has to
"Hey,
be
you know
accepted,
what?"
but-
She doesn't say. I don't think she should say like she should be. He should be allowed to just go to bars now every Saturday night and just pick up strange. But I think he should be able to.
As long as it's a committed relationship.
Yes.
Disease-free.
One more.
Yes.
A disease-free committed relationship. Is he allowed to put it in her, though? That's what Miguel's question
I know,
is.
but I'm saying if for some reason he isn't, for some
Well-
reason like
Is he allowed to? What's your?
yes,
Okay.
no matter what.
What do you think? I mean,
I think Gab would say, yeah, you totally allowed to.
can you? Is
That
that,
would be-
something you can get in writing now? So if the day ever comes, I mean,
That's a great point.
why not have that just in the top drawer? So when the lawyers come to you and go, "You're a monster," you can go, "Ha, am I really?"
Really.
Dated.
Man, that would,
here it is. It's written out. It's signed by both parties. It's dated, and
It's
don't
the
get
equivalent of
crazy.
a power of attorney. Yeah, I mean, you just do the same thing.
I think you want to
My
think
husband
that
is
through,
allowed
though.
to wail away on me, even in a vegetative state.
Whenever and
He has
whenever
a
he wants.
lifelong nod.
So what would that be? Like once a day? Or
That's
you
what I'm
giving,
saying. Are you able to just
full
kind of go
consent?
at
I mean,
it?
you giving full consent? Like I think, dude, I'm being
I
serious.
guess it's all negotiable. I'll have to talk this through with her.
You
You
need
come
to
home from
negotiate
work
this.
and you're just like-
you do not just like assume anal's on the table all of a sudden.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think you get it down to the nitty gritty detail. Like
There'll be some bullet points.
yeah.
But like if he comes home from a day at work, is he just allowed to just kind of like, well, I'm ready?
Oh, it's so bad.
Hey, folks, you want a classy, comfortable, stylish, safe, and fun to drive SUV with room for the whole family? Of course you do. So get your ass to Zott Ford and Holly, where you can lease the all-new 2016 Ford Edge for just $252 on a 24-month lease. If you haven't driven the new Ford Edge, you are doing yourself an injustice. Go visit Zott Ford and take advantage of a $252 a month Ford Edge before this hot deal cools down. Check out their stupefied deals and massive inventory at ZottFord.com. Get there.
Did you see more Fox News people are coming out claiming to be harassed?
Yeah, this is one of the chicks. I think she was from the Five originally.
Yes, I recognize her. Do you recognize her?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's cute.
What's her name again? Andrea something?
Andrea Tintaros.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, I don't really watch Fox News, but I'm familiar with her. So I don't. Did she go somewhere else?
She was on the Five, and then she was on the morning or the more like midday show with Meghan McCain, I think.
Okay. Well, she says she was taken off the air after making repeated sex harassment claims or complaints against Roger Ailes. She's filed a lawsuit alleging she's the latest woman to accuse him after Gretchen Carlson obviously came forward a couple months ago. In her case, she says that the harassment first began back in August of 2014 when he allegedly asked the journalist to do the twirl so he could see her figure. Is that counts too? I'm serious. That's you can't do that to a female employee?
Correct.
Shit. I've done stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, I imagine you have.
Yeah. I thought I was being good, too.
Have you ever boned a subordinate?
A subordinate?
Have you ever had a female subordinate?
God, no. Yeah, no, I've had female subordinates. I banged
Go ahead.
superiors. Not subordinates, though. I don't think. No.
Yeah.
I know people who have.
So you've been harassed, Mike. Fortunately,
have,
the statute
absolutely.
on that one has run.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably has. So, anyways, she refused to show off her figure. Why would you even need to ask that? Just wait till she walks by and you can see everything.
Yeah.
You see. She's walking towards you when you make the comment. If you just let her keep passing, you can see without the twirl comment. Anyway, and then at one point he demanded that she come over so he could give her a hug. Once again, she turned him down. That's off limits too. You can't even ask for a hug.
It's
Shit.
frowned upon, Mike.
I mean, what if he was just in a bad mood? He just needed they say human contact, hugs are good for you.
She made multiple harassment and hostile workplace complaints, according to her lawyer, Judd Burstein.
And then she was retaliated against?
Yep. She was taken off the air. I believe it's retaliatory. In February 2015, she says in her lawsuit that she was harassed again by Ailes, who asked her about her workout routine because her body looked good, adding she must look really good in a bikini. Don't tell me that's over the line. That's over the line? That's outrageous. That same month, she was demoted from the Five show to a midday
she was on there
program
with Kimberly Guilfoyle, I think, originally. Guilfoyle's one.
Guilfoyle?
I'd be interested to hear if she's been harassed.
Isn't that the name of...
Yeah, Guilfoyle's one of the characters on Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Kimberly Guilfoyle is the chick who sits front and center with her skirt hiked up so everybody can see her legs and the tight top and everything.
Nice.
She's really pushing it.
Well, I guarantee she probably was. Does she still work there?
I believe so.
Yeah. She's not going to say anything then. So then she went to a program called Outnumbered. Is that the afternoon program you're thinking of?
That's the one where there's like one guy and four girls or something.
Oh, okay. Hence Outnumbered.
Right.
In April, she filed a formal workplace harassment suit and blah, 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 blah. Fox News' angle is she published a book, and we have first right of refusal. Like, you have to run it by corporate
Let
before.
them vet it.
Exactly. We have to vet the book, and the cover is what they had a problem with. I guess it's called Tied Up in Knots, How Getting Away.
Pull up the cover of Tied Up in Knots. Apparently she's tied up with ropes or something.
How Getting What They Wanted Has Made Women Miserable, which depicts her tied up in ropes on the front cover. So they apparently had a problem with that, and that's what they're saying. I don't know. As far as sexual harassment claims go, this seems kind of weak to me, honestly.
Yeah, that doesn't look like overly like bondage-like, does it?
No, I was
mean,
expecting to see leather and straps and
yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like probably a flimsy pretext there, but.
And then there's another exec who talks about her with Ailes. I imagine there are probably, if there are 20, there's probably 1,000.
Yeah, it's probably every female that he came in contact with. That's just what he does. Yeah, come here, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Give me the twirl. Give me the twirl.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, that sounds kind of weak. her claims, like, oh, he wanted a hug. And
Well, if it's true that there's a connection between her complaining about that shit though and her being demoted,
Yeah.
The thing is, there's so many those shows change all the time. There's so many bona fide reasons why you switch out hosts and all that shit.
yeah, ratings. It's a puzzle. You're trying to figure out.
I'm
what
about to
works
switch your ass out. Right
Yeah,
now,
I know.
we've been in talks about that for a while.
for months. I keep going off script is the problem.
Yeah, the ratings. Yeah, they can always point to that. And go, this person didn't mesh with that person, especially when there's
Mm-hmm.
5 of them.
And I'm claiming sexual harassment. Some of Jay's comments have been highly inappropriate.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I guess it's a fine line, but you can see having the cool boss, that does that. This TV exec who worked for Ale said, yeah, he sexually harassed her too, like when she was first coming into the company, and he was like, I think you're brilliant, all that, and I want to offer you the job, and she's like, okay, great, and she tells everyone, family and friends, I'm moving to New York, I'm taking this job at Fox News,
But first,
and so then he's like, yeah, I need to meet you at the restaurant, and then he was like, when did you first know you were smoking hot or something like that? And she's like, fuck. And so then she decides, he won't stop pressing. She's like, you're embarrassing me. And this is back years ago, but finally she decides, okay, I need to get out of here. And he was trying to make some sort of sexual deal with her,
Yeah.
I get to come to your office, bang you, and then you get to work for this company. How does that sound? And she's like, we don't even know each other. What is it, like once a month you're just gonna like come by my office, ready? And he's kind of like, well, yeah. and she's
I'm
like,
a man.
No, that's not how we're gonna do it. And so he's like, okay, so you need some time to think about it. Fine, whatever. And so
Offers on the table. Let me know.
yeah, let me know where you stand on this in the end. And so then she decides, okay, I'm not taking that job. Forget it. I'm out. And the lawyers knew people at Fox News and called and made some arrangement like, oh, we'll fix this. This is bullshit. And so they talked to him and we're like, dude, you cannot fucking make some deal with that. And so they agree to have her come to New York, meet with Ailes, and he's going to apologize. And she's like, okay, I'll give him the face-to-face for the formality of it. But she still wasn't going to take the job. And he actually laid on the sword and was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm an asshole. I can't believe I did that, and blah, blah, blah. I'll never do it again. And then they went on, and she took the job and had a great working career from then on. And she goes to point out, if you think this is a Fox News thing,
Right.
you are highly mistaken.
Yeah.
She said the same shit happened to me just about every fucking place I worked. Just about every place. And that's what I thought. This has been a male-dominated, ego-driven business forever. It surprises me none that you have hot chicks there. They're probably harassed round the clock on a daily basis.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. I love that about
It
that.
doesn't make it right, Mike.
Damn it does, though. Oh, as a white male, it makes me just...
It's the only thing we have.
Warms your heart.
Oh, it's something that I just wish I was fucking doing that shit 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I was in the game 30 years ago, in the 60s or something. Imagine the 60s when no one would believe you.
Just walk by. Bam.
Yeah, what's up, Toots? Smack on the ass. The good old days. You remember the good old days. The Leave It to Beaver days. I imagine Mr. Beaver was a maniac at the office.
Mr. Cleaver.
Cleaver, yeah. Beaver's dad was harassing the shit out of everybody back in those days. But I imagine we could just get more and more stories every day. There's probably thousands of women that have come into contact with Roger Ailes over the years.
Sure, it's just chronically how he treated people.
I was going to get to the Olympics and stuff, but we should probably get to email. And
we do have some email, Mike.
What do we got?
Before we get to that, however, we must mention our buddy Mark Leibovitz of LPL Financial. You all know him by now. He's offering our listeners a great special. If you're one of the next 10 listeners to make an appointment for a no-cost, no-obligation portfolio review, he'll give you a $50 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. It means at no cost, he'll meet with you, review your financial investment situation, give you recommendations. If you've been thinking about calling Mark, do it now. Call him at 248-626-2000. Ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Jason writes in, you sons of bitches, I have to share with you the pain you caused me this weekend. As my wife and I were taking a nice leisurely drive to Lake Paw Paw this past Friday with another couple, the topic of masturbation came up. Well, of course it does. You have 4 people in a car, long car ride.
Yeah.
One of them starts whacking off. Of course, the
back.
topic. Yeah.
Sure.
I, of course, started blasting out as many Jerry quotes as possible.
That's really astounding.
Jerry would be proud.
Yeah, I probably gave him a...
Well, that's all right.
I can't stop saying that one, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's all
It applies
right.
to so many things. Well, That's all right.
Did you say it just like that?
Yes.
You can't stop doing the spa either.
Spot, yeah.
You know, there are people who don't want to do other things. You know, if you want ice cream, you don't go to a barbecue shop.
Shop is also comes to mind.
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say, mm-mm.
So did he was going up north?
It's going to Lake Pawpaw.
Lake Pawpaw. Does he have a boat there that he docks?
Docking is the insertion of one man's glands into the foreskin of another's.
I don't know what all those guys do over at Lake Pawpaw.
It's always the same and always different. There's always a bunch of naked guys having a wonderful time together.
Sounds like a blast.
The only natural thing left to do is plug the Detroit Cast and increase your fan base, says Jason. This led to their education of the infamous San Francisco Jacks. The Google machines were flying when I suggested that we just listen to the episode when you talked to Big E about his experience there. My idea was met with great exuberation. Well, the next 2 hours of life could not have been worse. I was careening down I-94 trying to search the Detroit Cast archives for the proper episode number. My frustration increased as I realized I could not get us to our destination without killing us all if I did not stop looking at my cell phone. So I did what any responsible adult would do, just Google the Detroit Cast / San Francisco Jacks. Jackpot, right? Wrong! It hits on a Facebook post that describes the episode but is not linked to any audio. It's time for the co-pilot to take over. I had to just sit there and keep driving as I painfully watched him scroll through the YouTube channel looking for it. When I thought we had it, we listened some more and more. Is this it? They kept asking. I think it could be, I kept responding. Well, after listening to you guys sing and talk about John Denver for 45 minutes, I realized it wasn't. That's right. I just made 3 people I was trying to get hooked on the show listen to the fucking John Denver episode. Epic fail, says Jason.
Wow.
Some would disagree with him.
Some would, but
some believe that was artistry at its best.
Yeah, some could say
Just
that, but
a couple.
I don't think that that's one that we would. I think as we were doing that episode, we knew, boy, this is going to be one of those. This is when the Bradys go to Hawaii episodes. You know what I mean? Like,
No, this is when the Bradys do a friggin' variety show.
Okay,
I mean,
even
Hawaii,
better.
I would argue, is one of the best
Yeah, that's
episodes
true.
ever, or
That's
series
true.
of episodes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the long email, but the story does have some redeeming value. They still appreciated the San Francisco Jacks discussion so much that it came up the very first night at Lake Pawpaw. But this time it was in front of about 12 other couples that were there, all drunk. Before I even had a chance to discuss what the Jacks were and what they were about, the oldest guy there shouts out that he was a charter member. It was time to validate this dude and see if he was fucking around. I quickly started my interrogation without pause. He told the whole campsite of 20 people plus it's where guys jack off together. I bet you can guess what the conversation for the next half hour was about. And yes, docking, creative pecker play was discussed. Things were great. I got to plug the Detroit Cast, and people kept referencing the Jacks, so all was good.
Wow.
Met a member.
Met a charter member. That's amazing.
I thought we were the only ones who actually knew a member.
Well, E's technically a member now, so we know him.
You paid the entry fee, right? Was it $7?
10.
Yeah, you paid that, and you got nude with the guys. So, dude,
did he put that on his expense report? Did you include the $10?
I don't think I did, actually.
$10 membership fee?
I don't think I put that in the email. I paid that on my own 10. That means.
I was going to call Jerry, by the way. I want to because I've got to go out to San Francisco.
Well, that's all right.
I was going to email him, but we know how he feels about that. He never would get
That's
it.
not my department. I'll tell our webmaster.
Yeah, but I want to do dinner with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You badass.
I was just going to say, Beth and I will be out there in a month or so, and I want to hook up for dinner or something.
You should.
Yeah.
Definitely. Woof.
So, woof, woof. Meow.
Marisa writes in with some observations. Good day, gents. Podcast 637 hit home the crazy number of topics that I could relate to. I'm still trying to figure out how and why so many topics of your daily discussions parallel ones that I have personal experiences with as well. It's hilarious on so many levels, but speaks loudly to the many 5-day-a-week fans of the podcast who could say the same thing. With that being said, I too also had the same story of purchasing a Christmas tree with my college friend / roommate of 6 years. We were mistaken by the Christmas tree guy as lesbianese.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He had sold us a tree the year prior as well and said he remembered us. Of course he did.
Yeah, of course. A couple hot chicks come stumbling in to buy a Christmas tree.
I remember
Not
those
quite the same
days.
thing when two girls do it, by the way, compared to Mike and a guy.
Girls can get away with it easy.
Oh,
I think
hell
it
yes.
wouldn't be out of the realm of, if two chicks do
Two
it.
hetero girls doing that?
Two
Well, 'cause
guys.
Why the hell are you guys... Why did you do that?
Well, I think it was we were living in Royal Oak. And
No, I
it
know
was-
your situation, but
it
why
was
the
like-
hell would you want a Christmas tree between the two of you?
We both had girlfriends at the time, And so I think we were talking about we wanted to get like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I think it was like more of a comic thing than anything.
Yeah.
And it was right across the street from us. So it wasn't like we had to drive, I don't think.
So you're looking for a Chuck Brown. Did you find it?
I think we did, but Derek it was like, oh, I need to pick up some wine, and so he'd grab some wine, and so then you can imagine that scene as two guys shopping for Christmas trees with a bottle of wine. It's
Especially back in the
like
time
it
when
just
this was.
dawned on us
Yeah.
right then, like, oh my God, this just doesn't. Not that it looks bad, but it's not the. It's not
True
what
representation.
what we wanted to project people to think, and so we just decided from that moment forward, okay, we can't do that. We can't shop for Christmas trees together.
Marisa adds, I also want to debunk Eric's gross theory of not wanting to date someone that has the same name of someone in his family. We're not talking about dating here, Marisa. We're talking about banging.
Yeah,
okay?
this is
Eric has
not-
no interest in dating.
Yeah, we're talking about
anything.
insertion. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
My father, brother, and husband all have the same name, and it never crossed my mind. He's a sicko. Enough said about that.
Yeah.
That's
Next.
bullshit. I
You
can't
don't think
believe
it
that.
ever crossed your mind? Like,
I
oh my
don't-
God, I'm screaming my dad's name right now?
I don't think that maybe with her.
It will
but-
now. Now it will. She's never going to be able to scream her husband's name out again.
Hit me hard, Dad.
With, exactly.
I mean,
no, you know,
husband.
with her, she's like, oh, never. Maybe not her, but I don't believe for a second there aren't people out there who might at one point be like, oh, damn, I hooked up, started hooking up with this chick. Her name's the same as my sister's. I don't know. I just don't believe that. I don't believe people wouldn't think that.
I think you could set it aside in a second.
I'm not saying you couldn't set it aside, but I'm saying I could see someone thinking it.
It's honestly never crossed my mind.
Okay, well.
It's that thought has never crossed my mind. Like, my brother dated a Kristen for a long time.
You were never like, did you ever think of
like banging your
Kristen,
sister, weirdo? Never.
Well, whatever. I have, so.
What's it like banging your sister, a weirdo? Finally, my uncle says, Marisa, debuted the Al Michaels Acorn hair color as seen below. It's ridiculous. He's 77. Look at
Wait,
that son of a bitch.
who is this? Her.
This is her uncle.
Her uncle.
Yeah,
That's a nice. That's a nice color. Wait a minute. 77, and it's that color.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
Is there some
pulling some shenanigans? Some wool is being pulled. I believe.
Yeah. There's some tomfoolery.
You just
shenanigans.
debut that out of the blue too. And these guys that do it, that don't like kind of creep into it, you have to creep into it,
Have
right?
to. It's an absolute must.
And then you have to
creep in.
leave some gray. You can't just go all frickin' earth tone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't go acorn and not have a little bit of salt and pepper action
It looks
going.
so bad. Like I've seen every once in a while you'll see one of those dudes walking around who's like in their 70s and just has jet black hair, jet black sideburns, and you're like, dude,
best.
no, nah, you're not fooling a soul, sir.
Mike Ilitch, perfect example.
yeah,
right?
he's got an acorn, hasn't he?
Looks like he's wearing a rain-soaked possum on his head, dyed acorn
You know
brown.
what really sticks out for me right now is Coach K from Duke.
Oh, I've never thought about him.
Oh my God, his hair, dude! I just happened
Jet
to watch.
black?
Yeah, I just happened to watch a little bit of the game, like literally 2 minutes maybe of the game the
I
other day.
could see him being totally jet black.
Dude,
I'm
at his
rejecting
age-
gray.
Yeah,
You know?
But at his age, though, not naturally is my point. And it's
Who's
like,
the guy we were talking about fairly recently? Was it George Stephanopoulos? Who
he's got a great head of hair, doesn't he?
he does have
Thick locks.
I'm not crazy about his style, but he's definitely got.
got some
He's
thick,
got a
thick
lot
locks.
to work with. Yeah, but he was going like salt and pepper, pretty hardcore salt and pepper,
all
and
of a
then
sudden-
one day it was like,
Right. You got to just
dude,
limp into that.
yeah, you can peel that back over 6 months.
Yeah.
without
can't you?
yes,
I don't know anything about hair color, but can't you just go in like 1 week and kind of have it touched and then maybe 2 weeks later touch it up again? I don't know. I've never thought about Krzyzewski. That little rat face. Look at that rat face.
Yeah.
Is that man a rodent? He's a rodent.
He's not full rodent, but he's got rodent
That
blood
little
in him, for
tiny
sure.
mouth.
And it's the
Oh, he's-
eyebrows. The eyebrows
yeah.
make it kind of glow.
That
I don't know. I
nose.
just
He
look
is
at-
a rat boy.
I just look at it and think that's not natural. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look now because I've never thought about him.
I'd be interested
Thank you for
to
pointing
see
that out.
what his cheese intake is like. Just,
Oh, yeah, you just
at a
picture it.
minimum. He sits down for dinner. The whole family has steaks, and he's just got a block of cheese. Hell of a coach, though.
Yes, I've got 2 waves I'd like to play for you, Mike.
I'd love to hear him.
One has some great advice on your garage door issue. So listen closely. This may solve everything.
Wait, before are they going to tell me to push the magic button again? Because I
No,
tried that.
No, this is even better.
Okay.
The Mike's garage door not closing. Could it be there's something blocking said garage door? Just throwing it out there as you were.
Thought
We
about
check
that.
that. Maybe there's something like right underneath.
There's
it
a
that's
giant box that sits.
Yeah, dude, move that
between
out of the
laser.
way. Move
Seriously?
that out of the way. Yeah.
Why? What does that
that's
have to do with
probably-
anything?
It's probably it. It's blocking it.
Could you imagine if I was that dumb that I
Have
just
some
had a
pro come over here. Yeah, dude, you
he
gotta
just knocks the
move
loose
it.
shoe out of the way. Fuck face. Can't have a shoe blocking the. There's a beam. There's a laser beam that goes from that end to that end. Everybody knows this. You can't have a shoe laying there.
A laser beam.
That's
Yeah,
him. With,
that's him back with in the Grant Hill days.
And looks like
he's gonna gnaw
early
on-
'90s.
I know I'm not good at doing the picture, but if you look at that
You're right, E.
and you look at that, it's
Something's going on here. You have uncovered something.
It's the
well
exact
done,
same
E.
hair, dude.
Well done, Sherlock.
It's just there is no chance.
He hasn't fucking aged. Is he a robot?
Yeah, he hasn't aged, has he?
Look at that son of a bitch.
When would Grant Hill have been there? Early 90s?
Early
90,
90, yeah,
yeah.
92, something like that. Yeah, I think the Pistons drafted him in 94. Wow.
So are you saying that he's coloring his hair?
Hell yeah.
I'm saying he's a cyborg. I'm going one step
Okay, well,
further.
he's going further than me, but I'm saying
I think the likelihood of being a cyborg is stronger than him coloring his hair. I can't imagine him coloring his hair.
you telling me
What
that
coach would
Is he
do
too
that?
tough to color his hair? You
Yes.
think that
I
little
think-
rat boy is too tough to color hair?
Yeah, I think he's got too much on his plate. He didn't have time for coloring hair.
Dude, I've thought about this for a while. This last few years when I've looked at him, he's been one of the examples I've gone to. Is like there is no that he's faking that. Whatever, fine. Cyborg, sure, maybe he's a cyborg. I did not put that on the table.
Yeah, consider that.
I think you need to consider it.
I will.
You know,
Well,
speaking of coaches aging, dude, how about Izzo looking more and more like what's his damn name? The Teamsters head that got murdered.
Gotti?
No,
Oh,
come on,
you're
man.
talking about who's buried?
Yes.
Jim. John. Buried under the stadium.
Hoffa?
Hoffa. Jimmy
Yes.
Hoffa. James Hoffa.
Dude, he looks so much like Hoffa now.
Does he?
Oh, come on, E. While you look at that, I will play you another wave.
Is there some hair color manipulation going on with him too?
With the is? I don't know. Yeah. Papa Tim chimes in on a free television, free stuff from the store. This is an interesting take. I can't believe this, but
About 25 years ago, I bought a television from, I think it was Highland Appliance. And I had it for about a month. I bought it on credit. And I got a bill in the mail, and the bill was really strange looking. So I called them up, and they said, well, you returned the television, didn't you? And I said, oh, yeah. And so I got a free television, plus there was a $200 credit on it from the money we put down.
Hell yeah.
So we ended up buying some more stuff.
thinking on his feet is Papa Tim.
That is thinking on your feet.
Quick
I
on
mean,
his
my,
feet.
my answer would be just an automatic, no, fuckface.
No,
Of course I
get-
didn't
right.
return it.
And
What
then
are you
you'd hang
talking
up
about?
and you'd be like, oh, I wonder if I would have said
Wow. Boy.
it. Tim's first instinct is,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
of course. Duh. Yeah, isn't that Izzo? Freaking
Yeah,
Hoffa?
up here, top right for sure.
Yeah.
I see Hoffa.
He's going that way.
Yep.
So Dutch Rudder one-ups him, I believe.
I know a son of a bitch that got a free house in a community north of where living as a vacation.
Oh, Oxford?
He remortgaged, and then in the state of Michigan, you have something like 10 days where you can actually cancel a mortgage. You can rescind it and get out of the contract. And he did that. But the problem was that the company he remortgaged with had already paid off his old mortgage. So he got a letter a couple weeks later that said, your old mortgage is paid off. And there was no new mortgage. So he thought, well, this is going to catch up with him pretty quickly when some auditor finds it. Somebody looking at the books, they're going to wonder where their money is. And so he just kept making his house payment into a savings account. And
Good move.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but the last time I did, it had been 5 years.
Son of a bitch got a free house.
I think, dude, I know, like, I'd feel more guilty about stealing some Twizzlers from the grocery store than a house from a bank. I'm serious. I don't know why I say that, but
I
I
kind
feel
of
like
see that reasoning. For as ridiculous as it is,
if you get the offer once, that's a once in a lifetime. It's a fluke. It's such a fluke.
yeah.
That I think you just
Not
take
saying
the free
I do
house.
It. I feel you on that.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, That's a different level, dude.
How
and
does
I
your
like
brain
that.
work like that, where you go, no, I can't take the Twizzlers, but I could take the house.
You think about what a pain in the ass it is to pay off a house. You know what I mean? Like, it's 30 years. It's a struggle. God forbid something happens and you can't make your payments.
Son of a bitch on the planet.
And you lose your house all over, and they steal it from you.
So that's how you resolve it? Like, oh,
And
they're
it's like-
bastards. They do it to me.
Yeah, they would have no care in the world
Yeah.
about what's done to you. The Twizzlers, it seems like it's an
Twizzler people have worked hard on this.
I know,
Made
that's
a great
why-
product.
Yeah, but
feel bad about taking it.
Yeah, but you could that's why it's like, no, they deserve that.
They've
$3.
condensed a lot of sugar.
It's $3 or whatever, and they deserve that. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to pay for my Twizzlers. But a house, that's game changing, man. That could set your whole life up. That could set your family up for the future.
Part of me would be like that guy though, where you'd keep shoving the amount into
I
a
love
savings
it.
because
Love it.
you'd be like, I'm gonna get hit with this someday. And I think that is maybe how I would be able to resolve it in my mind. Like,
yeah,
well, I'm ready to pay it if they do come back to me.
Doesn't that?
And I'll just keep putting the money in there.
Doesn't that? I would think that would maybe even put you on the line for more trouble. Like, you knew every month you made a conscious decision to fuck over these people by putting that money in the bank. You knew every month it was top of mind. You knew what you were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's some.
I can see your argument, but it would depend on.
I wouldn't
what you
care. I would
received,
still
like-
do it though. I would still do it and take my free house and
It's a
roll the
weird
dice
story.
on that.
Weird story.
That's awesome.
We will save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
Okay. The Poos will be here tomorrow.
Oh boy.
The triumphant return of the
boy.
Poos.
You'll hear the chain a rattling.
Yep. You'll hear
Yeah. You'll
that
hear that
noise.
a lot.
Get used to that as her metal chain hits the metal leg of the table. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. Thank you for listening and supporting this very show. We certainly appreciate it, and we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.